and good evening. Welcome to Branco Broadcast. My name is Bob Branco. Tonight we are very pleased to have with us Mr. Curtis Martin. Curtis, welcome to the show. You can let the people know what you're all about, and then you can take questions from our participants.
All right. My name is Curtis Martin, and I was born and raised in Martinsville, Virginia. I now live in Woodbridge, Virginia, which is about 40 minutes outside of Washington, D.C. I have 6 children, and my wife, she's also totally blind. Her name is Trin Martin. She does a lot of stuff on the web, and so do I. I'm a musician. I play for a church, Gunston Bible Church, and I do computer classes online. I teach people that want to know Windows or if they want to know Apple products. So I do both. I have me an iPhone. I have a Mac Mini. I'm thinking of getting another one pretty soon, maybe an iMac or something. So I don't know if I'm going to do that, but right now I am satisfied with what I have and satisfied with being able to teach, and I think I do fairly well. I taught myself, really. A lot of my computer stuff I taught myself by breaking my wife's computer when we first met. So, and I took classes over the years and freshened up my skills, but I didn't go to college for it, but I can work my way around a Windows machine. Like, I don't want to be boastful, but I don't have a problem with any other stuff, setting up and installing or any of those good things. I don't have a problem with it. Now, I started playing music when I was 9 years old. A friend of mine introduced me to a Hellman B3, and he turned it on. It was the old kind where you turned the motor on, and then you turned the little other thing on with the Leslie cabinet with the speakers, and I heard that sound, and I was asking him what it was. Teaching myself from that point on. So I taught myself music as well as computers. You know, I had to, when I'm fascinated with something or when I really have an interest, I go all out to learn all I can about it. And I have a couple of CDs that I've done, and I'm working on a new one right now. I do mostly gospel music because I've been through a lot of things in my life that I know that it's nobody but God that has brought me through them. And don't know if you want me to go into all my health issues, but I have quite a few of those as well. But I'm doing pretty good right now. I don't seem to have a problem with my heart. That was one of my major problems. Was I had 7 heart attacks. That's believable. And it's the truth, though. I had 7, and I'm still here to talk about it and not having any problems right now. I had to have triple bypass surgery. Then I had to have stents put in my heart, and then I had to have the first time I had a valve repair, and they thought that would fix the problem, a mitral valve. But it didn't fix the problem because they didn't do a good job, and the whole ring that they put around the valve to keep it opening and closing completely moved away from the spot. So I went from 2008 to through 2012 not knowing that it had separated, but wondering why I had started having problems with my breathing. And found out that whole operation was a bust. And you see, that's why I know that God is God. I don't know how many believe, but that's how I know, because they said that my lungs should have collapsed from all of the fluid being pumped into them and not really being removed. So I had to have that completely replaced. And after all those things, I still stuck with my music, and I still was able to teach keep my class going, and so I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've had in my life. And right now I'm self-employed. I run a recording studio, and it's called All for God Studios. And that's, and I help people record when they want to come in. I'm kind of cheap. I don't charge a lot, because I know a lot of people don't want to pay a high price. So I kind of do about $75 an hour. And I have a motif FX, which is a workstation, so I can do vocal tracks. I can do anything I want to with this machine, and I love it. It has scripts that I can connect it right up with my GarageBand and things like that, so it's fairly accessible to interface with my computers. And, so that's pretty much me in a nutshell. And I can tell you about my children. Go ahead and give you those. My children, my oldest, his name is Philip Isaiah Martin. He's 14. My next is Matthew Elijah Martin. He's 12. And then I have Joseph Emmanuel Martin. He's 10. And there's my two little girls, Anna Lynn Noel Martin. She's 8. And Carolyn Hope Martin is 5. And my baby, Daniel Jeremiah Martin, is 3. And as I said before, my wife's name is Trin Martin. And she helps me with my music and help me to kind of promote my stuff and do what I do, because I'm not very well at writing. I can do it, but, she is very good at those things. And I'm sure you know that, Bob, because she was the one that forwarded you I forwarded you what she wrote for me on the bio. She said, you want me to just write it for you? And I was like, if you don't mind, you know me just as well as I know myself. So, and she did that for me, and I thank God for my family. I love these guys, and we homeschool them, and all of their grades are average and above. Most of them are above average when they do their test scores. We're tested by the state every year at the end of the year, so we have this lady that comes out. She's probably a couple of 100 miles away from us, and she comes up here to give them their test. And every year about the end of May, we do their testing and turn it into the school board, and we always give them the go-ahead to continue. So that's really been great to do all of that and to, just watch these guys learn and to be able to provide and watching them understand what it's like for us to be blind and to, they get the best of both worlds, really, because they see and when they're around their grandparents and things, everybody see, except for, Trent and I are both blind, but they know how to deal with us. I even have my son that's working with me as far as computers. I'm training him to work as a tech with me. And this guy can use voiceover or JAWS just as well as we can, and he doesn't get frustrated with it. And he still, is looking at the screen. So I think I'm doing pretty good with him on those, along those lines. Because he will actually keep the voiceover on when all he has to do is turn it off and just use my phone or whatever to do, if I need him to do something, to just go in and do it. But he keeps the voiceover on and just shows me. I guess he just wants to show me that he's got this, I can do it, and I don't have to be blind, but I can use what's available for you guys. I can do it just as well as you, and I'm impressed. I really am. And he's only 12 years old, and he knows a little bit. I've worked with him on HTML, and he's learning coding right now. He wants to really be a programmer, and he wants to go into that as he grows older, or he wants to go into working with laser surgery, because he helped me. I had knee surgery this year, and I forgot to tell you that, but I had to have knee surgery. And he was the one that really helped me through the surgery, keeping it wrapped, making sure everything was clean. And I had to have a bag because I got an infection, and they had to give me an IV, one of those pick IVs where I had to have it in my arm and have the little medication pump on me. And he was able to flush it, and he did all those things. And that's why I say every time I think about this guy, I feel that I've done a great job helping him to learn and to just go through life. So that's pretty much where I am, and looking for more work. But other than that, that's me. In a nutshell, that's what I do.
Okay, I have questions.
Who has a question for Curtis?
I have a couple of questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Do you take the two and put them together by taking your music and putting it with the computer?
Yeah.
As far,
yeah.
so that's how you make your CDs.
Yeah. I use my computer. I lay down all my tracks basically in my keyboard. My keyboard, like I said, it's a workstation. So it has its own sequencer as well as using GarageBand. But once I put everything the way I want to, I use GarageBand and just put it all into the tracks and mix them down and my vocal tracks however I want to do. You know, like if I want a 3-part harmony, I use GarageBand for a lot of that. But it all uses my keyboard. It uses the keyboard engine as the driving force. So it's all connected up to my computer. And
now
the audio and everything goes right through.
Now you just said that your son uses the computer instead of shutting off JAWS and everything. He works with it.
Yeah, he will. I mean, he doesn't do it all the time now. So, but he I think he does that just to show me that he has really learned how to do it. You know.
So he actually
more times than none. Yeah,
because when I have my speech on. When I have my speech on, my girlfriend, it drives her wacky even if I lower the volume. And the speech I have, it sounds like a regular person. It's not that bad. But I mean, I have quite a deal of sight, but enough that I can use the voice, but I don't have the vision.
Right.
So,
now I'll tell you too, with a lot of sighted people, when you said that it drives your girlfriend wacky, I wasn't sure what you were, referring to, if it was the speech. It
bothers her because there's like a delay in speech as where she's not picking it up as quickly.
Right. Maybe it's because she doesn't, some people it's, to us it's completely real. I mean, and the voices are good, but I even have my friends with the iPhones, and those voices on the iPhones are awesome because they're pretty much the same voice as you would have with JAWS and everything. And my friends a lot of times can't make out what my phone is saying, or they have to sit there and, just like listen to it or make me redo it's saying again for them. So yeah, I don't know if that's just because they're not used to that style of voices or what it is, but I do think a lot of people, have a problem with that as far as the audio, because one of the reasons is they can see, they see the screen, so we're looking at the data, we getting it firsthand, and then to hear it, coming from what we're looking at, it's a little different. And also,
and Peters from New Jersey,
using voiceover or JAWS, that it's actually when you're hearing or I'm hearing what's being read put on the screen, it's moving the visual for them. It's like the screen just scrolls.
Right.
So he gets annoyed with that. So I think it's just one of those things that with sighted people, they just, they're not going to ever really get used to it. But you do have people.
Yeah, I don't know if you know,
I
don't know if you know what tunnel vision is. I have no peripheral vision. So if I see straight ahead, I only see like 2% in front of me, 2 degrees. So it's like looking through an ice cream cone. So I only see like 2 or 3 letters at a time. So it doesn't really disturb me when the voice, because when the voice talks, the letters appear, and it doesn't drive me crazy because I don't see everything at once. I'm just picking up what I see in front of me.
Exactly.
Right, so it doesn't bother me.
Okay. Ed Fetus, you have a question.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, Ed. Your turn. Ed, you're next.
You have any questions?
Ed, I can hear you. I don't know what happened to you. Are you muted, Ed?
Hear me?
I can hear you now. You can ask your question.
Disappeared.
Ed, are you there? Hit 4-star, Ed. Hit
Okay,
4-star.
I'm back. I was muted. Excuse me.
All right. You can ask your question now.
My question, I have a couple. I know you do a lot of work with your music. I mean, do you do it for other people mostly or for yourself, or do you take CDs? How do you actually get the music exposed, to people that could be potential buyers or whatever?
Right now I'm in the process of setting up a website. My wife and I together are, but right now basically what I do is I work through other people, and like I said, I'm the minister of music in a church, so that helps a lot. I play every weekend, so when I have CDs to sell, it's a pretty good-sized congregation, so I make as many copies as I need to, and I bring them in, and, I've had pretty good sales. But I'm trying to put up a website with my All for God Studios, and then I am doing All for God Ministries. And I want to open an opportunity for other blind musicians, and not even just blind musicians, but other musicians in general that are Christians or whatever, to come on and be able to give them a link that they could sell their music, and, they could have where people could preview it, listen to a little bit, and if you want to buy their albums, you can, and then, 10% may go to the All for God Ministry.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you teach? You mentioned that you taught. Do you teach privately, like people that are starting out with the internet or things like that? Do you do any of that, or is it mostly with your music?
Oh no, I teach people that starting out on the internet that wants to know.
You do it by
Windows,
phone. I mean, can you
Apple.
tandem into another computer?
I tandem. Sure do. I tandem.
What do you charge, by the hour, or how does that work?
Yeah.
It might be good to have your contact information in case, before you leave, so that some of us might want to contact. I mean, I might want to contact you for advice and help. I don't know what your fees run, but you could talk about that, when the time comes. Or
my fees. I don't charge a lot. Like I said, I try to help. I do this to take care of my family and feed my family, but I only charge like $20 an hour right now.
Well, that's
I don't
bad.
know if I'll go up at all.
No, that's
right
not
now,
bad
that's
at all. I mean, if you need the advice, I think that's a good, more than a fair price. I think that's all my questions.
I mean,
right
I know
now.
what. Okay,
Pardon?
I know that their text is making anywhere from $95 to $100 an hour, but I'm trying to build up my clientele, get enough people that they're not going to be scared away by my prices. If I want to be able to help them. My thing is I love to help people, and if I can share what I know, and I'm glad to do so. And then it takes
for instance, what kind of email do you use at the moment? You must do quite a bit of emailing with your computer, right?
Yeah, I use Google. I just use Gmail. And I just set up the mail client on my Mac.
Who's your provider?
Verizon.
Is it Gmail? Is it Outlook, or is it Verizon, or?
It's Gmail. I use Gmail. I don't. My internet provider is Verizon, but I don't use the Verizon at Verizon.net. I just use at gmail.com. That's the ending of mine. That's what I go through.
Okay.
I'd be glad to give you my contact info at the end of this. And
if you want to, but I have a couple of questions for you, Curtis.
All right, my friend.
Okay, you have 6 children, and I think what the public would be interested to know is, number one, do they understand about blindness, being that their parents are blind, and what do you and your wife instill in them to make sure that they are always going to be sensitive to the needs of the blind?
They understand it, pretty much about being blind. They understand the ins and outs of it. But what we instill into them is not just for being sensitive to our needs, but being sensitive to anyone that they come in contact with that they can.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Yes, sir. We try to let them know that, listen, a lot of times you're going to come in contact with people in your life. And what we want you to know is it's not so much how much you know about mathematics, how much you know about English, how much you know about, trigonometry or whatever, but what do you know about people, about being able to serve, to help someone else, because there's always someone that needs help. And these guys have pretty much grasped it. I mean, I look at them in relationship with each other as well as their friends, and they're always supportive of each other, and that tells me a lot. It tells me that we're doing a great job, because if any of them needs help, the other one is right there. If any of my friends or elderly people need help, they will do it, And so that's what we try to instill in them is great morals, because I'm finding out, I look at a lot of young people around at my ministry at the church, and I'm wondering what's going on with the young people. It's like some of them just don't care, or a lot of people just don't have the time. And I don't want these guys to get that way that, I don't have time to help you. I just got to do it for me. I don't have time to bring you this place or do this for you. I don't want them to be that way. When they get old, I want to get older, become young adults. I want them to be able to reach out and see what people need, and try to meet the needs of others. That's what we teach them.
All right. Anybody else?
Bob, to follow up on your question a little bit more about your children being knowing that your wife and you were totally blind, and like you said, with the needs, do your children go out and work in the community with other people at this point, with other handicapped? Do your children, since you and your wife are totally blind and they understand the handicaps, do they go out and volunteer their time with other people that are handicapped?
They do. We don't know a lot of handicapped people in this area, but we know a few. There's a couple at the church that are, in wheelchairs, and they go out there try to help them. And sometimes they will call and request for one of the boys to come over and help them with things around their homes, and they're always willing to do it. And,
so in other words, they
pay
do
my children sometimes, and we tell them no.
Yeah, because it's community service is how I would look at it. Right.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Because when I was raised in the temple, we have what's known as community service, but it's known as tzedakah, which means goodwill by helping other people. And we when we were going to Hebrew school and Sunday school, one of our things was that during the week we were supposed to give 3 hours a week community service, go read to somebody or go shopping or whatever, but to work with the people for 3 hours or read the mail.
Oh, wow.
So I was just wondering
whatever they needed, you guys were there to do so. Yeah,
exactly.
That's what they do. That's what we try to instill, as Bob was asking, what do we try to instill in them? But those are the type of qualities that we want all our children to have as they grow older. And they, even now, they do it with each other. The older guys will help the younger ones. Like my baby girl is starting this year, will be her first year of homeschool. So her brothers are taking turns, the older brothers are taking turns working with her on her letters and reading and teaching her, the numbers and all these things. They're just starting at a young age with her, and they're just coming to Carolyn, come on, let's do some work. Let's work on your sounds, so you can understand this is a vowel, the vowel and consonants. They're really good. They're really good at just picking up.
That is the new wave of That is the new wave of teaching, because I know in Boston alone, in the middle of downtown Boston. There is homeschooling.
I thought
and
you were from Boston.
Yeah, and
I thought so.
They have recreation. They have recreation for 2 hours in the afternoon, and what they do is they go to the Boston Commons, and they hang all these families. In the summer, they like in April and May, they hang out for like 2 hours, like in a picnic series. But they're not. I mean, they're playing, but they're not really playing. It's like what Bob and I did when we were at Perkins. They take the education of school and they put it outside for nature for 2 hours.
Yeah, well, yeah, man, that's great. That's great. You know, I just wish that more people, and when I say about the young people, I'm not criticizing, but it is what it is. A lot of times the children just don't seem to have the patience, and a lot of that comes from teaching. You know, How much do you interact with your child? You know, how much do you want them to know about doing the right thing and getting out here showing people that, you know what, I can help you, I can be of assistance to you. You know, and so many of the young people today, they just don't have the time. It's all about me. You know, it's about me. It's just what it is. It's about me. I don't have time to help you right now. I got to do something for me, you know. And it's sad the way things have changed and the way a lot of things have flip-flopped over the past 30 years from things that you would say, I can't believe that someone would do that. Now it's, I can't believe that you wouldn't, you know. And it's really sad because a lot of it is nasty, negative things. You know, and it's amazing.
Well, I believe I hear you there. I hear you there because I wish I could go back. I think we were talking about this the other day, Bob and I and a few other people. It would be nice to go back to the old days and like the 60s and not have certain things because people don't realize.
Think about.
Yeah, they don't realize what we had.
They don't realize what we had. And I was talking to my pastor, and we were talking about, man, we missed the good old days. And then we said, you know what? But the good old days had a lot of issues, too, that we overcame. You know, there was racism. There were, and, you know, racism is still there. But back in the 60s and, you know, things, it was a lot more. And there was a lot more violence with it, I think, than it is now. And, you know, but there was still, it was the good old days because when you were with your people that knew who you were and knew what you were about and families that stayed together and, you know, prayed together and did the right things, it was wonderful.
I mean, today they bring up.
I miss those times.
Today they bring these kids up to be in boxes. Like, I never even realized half the things that went on. Like my cousin said, I can't believe in the old days we were divided. And I said, and my cousin says, what do you mean there were two water fountains? What do you mean there were two? There were two schools.
Yeah, it really was though.
And I mean, I was a little girl, and my father's best friend, he came to teach me guitar. And my father gave him the key, and he went into the house, and they thought he was breaking in. But I was home alone, and he had a key to come teach me how to play the guitar.
And he thought he was breaking in.
And
Now, may I ask you, back then, was he black or, you know?
Yeah, he was.
That's what they thought. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Gotcha.
And my father never saw that. You know, he said, "Hey, Charlie, here's the key. Marcy will be home. If she's not home, let yourself in. And when she comes to start the lesson, and I'll be home, and I don't care how many hours you work with her."
Right.
And
they too then.
Yeah.
And we can get together. You can do some guitar tracks for me.
Yeah. But
you're right, because my pastor, he is from Nebraska, okay? And he was talking to me about that, the very thing that you're talking about right now. He said he didn't know color, you know, because the church I play for is a predominantly white church. And you know what? I love everyone, and I really, really enjoy playing there. You know,
I think it's, you know, I just like my rabbi. She's a female rabbi, and she goes out and she protests. If she doesn't like something, she goes and she protests. Now, they're having a gas pipe go through West Roxbury, and it's going right down the middle of my street. She says to me, "How come you don't have a sign out there? You should be protesting against it." And I told her, I can't put a sign here because every time I put a sign up for something, they come and they tear it down because two things. One, I'm a girl that lives alone, and two, they think because I'm Jewish, I know everything, so they tear down the signs. So I said, it doesn't pay to put up a sign. And it's not, you know, you don't have to advertise. You just do it.
No. Just do it.
But,
yes, indeed.
Yeah. But I think...
You sound amazing. Maybe I should have been interviewing you for my ministry.
Yeah. But I think it's pretty cool what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. I, like I said, my wife, she's one, you know, not only, you know, she's not just my wife, but she's my best friend.
Yeah.
You know? And she's got to be my best friend, but she's got to be a really good friend to put up with me, because I got a personality. Not a grumpy. I'm not grouchy. I'm not mean. But when I say to put up with me, I love to pull your chain. When you get to know me, I'll mess with you. I mess with everybody. And my kids, my wife said my kids are just like me. She said, I don't tolerate that silliness that you guys do. And I said, but you love us, right? You know, and and you know, but we just have a lot of energy. We love to make people laugh. That's just who we are. And they got that from me. Because I don't know, I used to always want to be a comedian, and probably.
Well, maybe there's a way you can bottle it and sell it.
Maybe. I have to figure that one out. I haven't figured it out yet.
Well.
But my music and my children and, you know, God.
It's sad again. We were just
and my wife, you know, that's my family. That's it. That is. I just, you know, I love to be with my family. I have plenty of friends too, but you know, and I always love to make new friends. I love to make new friends, you know.
Well, there's an old song that says, make new friends and keep the old. One's silver and one is gold. So I believe in that.
Yeah.
I noticed we have a fourth person in the conference that didn't ask a question yet. So whoever you are, you can ask a question if you'd like.
This is Lynette, and I don't want to ask a question. I just want to say, yes, I remember that song. It's around Make New Friends and Keep the Old. It's a great tune.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, I just had a call from a friend of mine on Skype. I probably had a computer question. I'll get back with him.
Well, unless there are any more questions, I think we'll wrap it up.
It's Ed Fetus. Can you hear me?
I do have a question for the gentleman.
Oh, I'll let Ed go first, and then I'll let the lady go second.
Okay.
Ed?
Okay, and I asked her to speak up just a little.
Sure.
Ed?
Yes.
It's not really a question, but you were talking about the good old days before, and we were just talking about that yesterday. And I made the analogy, the comparison that, you know, years ago people used to leave their doors open and they would stuff or just help themselves and share what they had. But that was because they had so little. There wasn't very much worth stealing. These days, everybody's very competitive.
That's probably true. It's pretty
true.
Man. I had never thought about it that way, but yeah, you're right. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, now who's the young lady with the question?
Yes, I just wanted to ask the guest if he teaches, I noticed in his bio you teach computer skills. Do you do JAWS, window eyes, NVDA? Did you cover that already and I just missed it, or I'm just
yeah, I do window eye. I don't do much window eyes. I used to be all the way on top of it. I stopped messing with window eyes about 2 years ago, and I just didn't keep it up. I basically went to JAWS, voiceover, and NVDA.
Great.
And what is your name, young lady? I don't think I caught your name.
This is Lynette Tatum, actually.
Oh, Lynn. Yes.
How you doing?
You're coming on April the 4th.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I'm going to make sure to come in and check you out, and I'll be here. I like this format, Bob. I'm glad that you gave me an opportunity.
Well, I'm glad to have you come on, and I hope you come back on again in the near future. And
whenever you want me to, whenever you want to have me, man, you let me know.
All right, Curtis, I have your information. So you take care, and thanks for participating on Branco broadcast this evening. Take care.
Yes, sir. Before you go, I think the gentleman wanted my contact info.
Yes, why don't you give it out right now so that it can go on the archive?
Okay. My contact info is, my email address is allforgodstudios@gmail.com, and I'll spell it so that, because I just do this even when I'm talking to doctors and things. It's allforgodstudios@gmail.com. My telephone number is 703-398-8581, and that's my mobile phone, and that's how you would get in touch with me more easily, because I always have my phone around me, and so that's pretty much it. That's all my contact info. Oh, and my Skype. I'm sorry about that. I do have Skype. Skype is Martin JCN. N as in Nancy. All of it together. The N was a mistake, but it got in, so I kept it. And when you type that in, you'll see Curtis Martin, Woodbridge, Virginia. And you want to add me to your contacts, feel free to do so. And you can contact me that way as well.
Very well. Thanks again, Curtis, and we will be in touch.
Hey, Bob, thank you, my friend, and y'all have a wonderful night, and I was glad to do it. And take care. You let me know when you have the archive, and just send it to me in the email.
I will, as soon as I get it.
All right.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Take care.
You guys.